Welcome to Brewers Daily. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Lots to get to on the show here today. On a Monday, we got a first hitter highlight of the spring here that we're going to get into. Plus, the Brewers have made a move here over the weekend that we got to talk about here, which came shortly after the Friday show came out. A few hours after that. Just wonderful for my timing. But the Brewers have signed Luis Rengifo to a one-year deal, and this is going to solve the third base problem for the time being. So earlier last week, the Brewers traded Caleb Durbin, Andrew Monasterio, Anthony Siegler, their entire third base depth chart, poof, gone in an instant. And the question all week had been, what in the world are they going to do at third base? You're looking at David Hamilton, you're looking at Jet Williams, you're looking at Eddie Leonard as a non-roster invitee, potentially having a straight line shot at a job, and now the Brewers signed Luis Rengifo. So you had to figure they'd have a plan. You'd had to figure they would bring in some additional depth from the outside, make some external addition. There's lots to talk about Isaac Paredes and other names that were out there. Some had mentioned Kobe Mayo, potentially from the Baltimore Orioles as a trade target. But instead, the Brewers signed the switch-hitting Luis Rengifo. He had spent 7 years with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. A very long-winded team name that they have over there. Still doesn't make any sense to me. But Rengifo, he's not a super high-ceiling kind of guy. Luis Rengifo is best utilized as a utility player. He can play second. He's played second, short, third, left, center, and right field in the majors. He's played all over. He can be that utility type guy. And as a switch hitter, doesn't really have strong platoon splits either way. Hits with some pretty decent power from both sides. Hits pretty well. Has hit for some pretty high averages. Very good contact hitter. Doesn't strike out a ton. But dealt with injuries in 2024, and then last season kind of struggled a bit, had a down year. So tough year for him to have a down year. But he was in the midst of a really good 3-year stretch run with the Los Angeles Angels. I mean, from 2022 through 2024, he was hitting 273 with a 754 OPS, 109 OPS plus, and 39 homers over the course of those 3 seasons. He was pretty productive. 6.3 wins above replacement in that time. Averaging around 2.5 wins above replacement per season. He was a pretty solid player for that 3-year stretch. And then struggled last year and ends up having to settle for a 1-year, $3.5 million contract with the Brewers. Has an additional $1.5 million in incentives, also a mutual option for $10 million for 2027. So good luck with that getting picked up. But still, Luis Rengifo is going to be your guy at third base for the time being. So, and what I mean by that is, through this early stretch of the season, because Rengifo has played a ton of third base in his career. David Hamilton has played 1 1/3 innings over there to this point in his career. Jet Williams has not played there at all. Those are your really kind of only major options at that spot. So Rengifo is going to be your most experienced guy at that position. So he's going to be there for the time being until these young guns that the Brewers are talking about are ready, because Matt Arnold has talked about this. They want to clear room for these young prospects like the Jet Williams, like Cooper Pratt, like Brock Wilken. Like those infield prospects on the left side that they're thinking are going to be ready sometime this season. All 3 of those guys that I just named, Williams, Pratt, Wilken, all 3 of them could be ready for a promotion to the big leagues at some point this season. All 3 are likely going to be starting the year in AAA. Williams now, perhaps especially with the addition of Rengifo here. So that makes it harder for him to make the big league squad out of camp. But it could allow him more time for development that he might actually need down there in AAA. He has just 34 games down there. So Rengifo, I think it's a solid fit for the time being. It's a bridge. It's a stopgap for the Brewers until those young guys are ready. Until Williams proves that he's ready to take over the hot corner, or Brock Wilken proves that he's ready to take over the hot corner. Rengifo's going to be that guy that's playing largely every single day. And then once those young guys are ready, they can move Rengifo back into the utility role that he probably should be in. that he's probably best suited for. I think Rengifo would be an upgrade over Andrew Monasterio, for sure. And, he may be fairly similar to what Caleb Durbin was providing, with perhaps the potential for a little bit more pop. Rengifo, he had back-to-back seasons of 17 and 16 home runs apiece, so he does have a little bit of juice in the bat, so that is good to see. He's not known really as a power hitter, known as a contact guy, but he does have some pop in there as well. Rengifo, yeah, he's a solid fit for now, but he's not going to be standing in the way of any of the young guys. It's if the Brewers had gotten Isaac Paredes, for example, and Brock Wilken had proven that he was ready to man the hot corner in Milwaukee, they wouldn't be moving Isaac Paredes aside for Brock Wilken. Luis Rengifo can be more easily moved aside for Brock Wilken if the Brewers wanted to go that route. So that's where Rengifo, I think it's a signing that makes a lot of sense, and it'll get them through this stretch here. And perhaps he's got a little bit of upside, coming off a down year, buying low a little bit. Perhaps he can get that sweet swinging ways back that he had for that 3-year stretch with the Angels. Because this infield picture is looking a lot better now. It's looking a lot more complete than it did before, as much as Matt Arnold can say, oh yeah, we like the depth that we have in the infield. You kind of knew that was a little bit of GM speak, and they needed something else there, and that's what Rengifo provides. So now in the infield, first base, you got Andrew Vaughn and you got Jake Bauers. That much is pretty much settled. Second base, Bryce Terang. Shortstop, it's going to be Joey Ortiz. Pat Murphy has basically said as such. It's like, okay, Terang's not moving. Ortiz is not moving. Third base, got a bunch of guys, we'll figure it out. Third base now, Luis Rengifo's atop that depth chart. You got David Hamilton after that on the 40-man roster. Hamilton likely is going to open as your utility guy. Perhaps splitting some time with Rengifo over at third, but with Rengifo being a switch hitter, there's not really much need for a platoon straight up for him. So you could just go based on matchups. Specific pitchers. Hey, this specific pitcher gives Rengifo a tough time, so we'll go with Hamilton for that day. Things like that. So that's really kind of your top of the depth chart right now when it comes to the infield. Those are the guys on the 40-man roster when it comes to the infield. I mean, it's those 5 really, or 6, I suppose that you have, because you got the 2 over there at third base and you got the 2 at first. So those 6 infielders are your guys on the 40-man roster that you have, and then after that, you got your non-roster invitees, your Jet Williams, because he's not on the 40-man yet. Your Jet Williams, and then your Cooper Pratts, your Brock Wilkins, your Eddie's Leonards types of guys. But those are your top 6. That's what the infield picture looks like. So it's looking a lot better than it was before. And that's really kind of I think the important part here. You get someone who's a bit more of a proven big leaguer. And a chance for some, decent, a pretty decent floor there for Luis Rengifo. He does struggle defensively, just kind of looking at his outs above average, some of his defensive metrics. He doesn't grade super well defensively, which, the Brewers do prioritize defense. That is going to be important for him, especially if he's going to be playing a lot. They're going to need to shore that up. So Matt Erickson, Brewers infield coach, he is going to be charged with bringing his defense up to speed and hopefully getting it to improve, because some of his numbers, he had a -7 and a -10 outs above average on Baseball Savant for the past couple of years. So, it's been kind of a rough go. But he's also been playing a variety of different positions. Perhaps OAA, doesn't, like that as much. Maybe he's just not just well suited as a shortstop where he may have been playing a lot of things like that. So, still, I think, he's going to get some work there defensively, and we're going to be seeing him quite a bit, especially throughout the first probably 2 months at least of the season. And then we'll kind of see where the prospects are at, see where Rengifo's at, and the Brewers will make decisions from there. All right, so as I kind of want to do here throughout the spring, I kind of brought it up during Friday's show, a pitcher highlight. Just kind of highlighting some of the guys here on the Brewers during spring training and what we might be able to expect from them throughout the season. Now I want to go to a hitter, and today's hitter highlight is going to be on William Contreras, because pitchers and catchers are the group that has reported to this point. So I highlighted Brandon Woodruff on Friday's show. If you missed that, go back and check it out. But here I want to highlight William Contreras as your Brewers starting catcher coming into the season. So last year, a bit of a down year for Contreras. I mean, still obviously productive. Hit 260. 355 on base percentage, 754 OPS, that's solid. 111 OPS plus, so he's 11% above league average. 17 homers, 28 doubles. Obviously a big piece of the team, but I mean a lot of those power numbers came late. First part of the season, he was really struggling, and that's where we found out about the broken bone in his middle finger on his catching hand, on his left hand. And, that obviously was causing him some problems. Whether he didn't admit it, he would never say, he would be like, oh, no, it's fine. He would never admit it was causing him problems, but it was causing him some discomfort there. It sapped him of all of his power at the plate. He was still able to throw the ball well, played great defense, but it sapped him of his power. Then, later on in the season, it started ticking back up, started to get it figured out. But this offseason, Contreras had the surgery to fix his middle finger, to fix a broken bone, any of the issues there. So it should be fine. It's healed up. He says it's good to go, 100%. So with Contreras with a fully operational left hand, I think we're going to see a much better version of him that looks a lot closer to the 2024 version of Contreras, where he hit 37 doubles, 23 homers, hit 281, 365 on base, 831 OPS, a 130 OPS plus. I mean, that is more like it. That's more of what I'm expecting from Contreras here. And I mean, now in his age 28 season, I mean, he's hitting his prime. I mean, he's in his prime right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see 25 to 30 homers from Contreras this season. A little bit more power with them. 23 was his career high that he set back in 2024. But I think we can more realistically expect this year kind of that 280 to 290 batting average on top of 25 to 30 homers this season, and probably 30 plus doubles. Again, so I think we're going to see a very, very productive William Contreras now that finger is fully healed and he's ready to go from the jump. Because, I mean, it was clear for the first, 2+ months last season that Contreras was just simply not himself. He did not have the power that he used to have, and it was really a struggle for him. And really not until July, really the first 3 months of the season, he really struggled. Had just 6 homers through the first 3 months. He was hitting 217 in the month of June. Not overall in the season, but just in that month. And then finally in July, hit 283, 2 homers. Then in August, the power finally surged again. Hit 9 homers to go along with a 279 average. So finally, that was kind of starting to tick back up. And then really didn't hit for much power there in the month of September. Kind of struggled on there, and then obviously October had a couple of big moments, but still, Contreras is a big piece of the order, big piece of the lineup. I mean, you talk about needing power in this group. Contreras is almost that kind of guy, along with Christian Yelich, in the meat of the order. Yelich and Contreras are probably your two most feared hitters in that regard. Jackson Churio up there as well, I'd say. But still, Contreras, he is a big piece of what's going to be happening for this team. They need him at his best. They need him to be able to have the power that we've seen him have. So getting that middle finger fixed, so that it's no longer an issue this year, that is incredibly vital. And I think we're going to be looking at an even stronger season, an even better season. I'm thinking a career year for William Contreras this season. That's what I'm looking at. I think he's going to be having an absolutely fantastic year, and the Brewers definitely need him to have one. So I'm very excited for what Contreras is going to be able to do this season. And the season, I mean, it's getting closer day by day. We're getting there. The first full squad workout is coming up tomorrow for the Brewers, coming up on Tuesday. So most of the guys really have been there. Joey Ortiz, Bryce Terang, a lot of your position players have already been at American Family Fields of Phoenix and getting their intake stuff done and just kind of getting started. Christian Yelich arrived over the weekend. So now these guys are getting there. Full squad has to be there, and they're going to be getting their workouts in. And then very soon here, we're going to be getting into Cactus League games. So I'm very excited for that because, once you get these full squad workouts in, then you're down to, a couple of days of that. And then once we get to Saturday, once we get to the end of the week here, we will have Brewers baseball. We will have actual games. Now, most of these games, will consist of minor league players. There's not going to be a ton of big leaguers playing for very long in these early games. But Saturday is the first Cactus League game for the Milwaukee Brewers. So we're within a week. This is the last week. This is the last Monday through Friday we will have without a Brewers baseball game of some sort until November, or at the very least late October. I mean, we are going to be going full sail here after this week. We'll have actual games to talk about, actual players on the field playing against another team. I am incredibly excited for that. It is coming up soon, not fast enough. A full squad workout coming out tomorrow, and then we're really going to be getting going. And next thing you know, it's going to be opening day, and then next thing you know, it's All-Star break and back through this again. But I can't wait for it. I'm excited for it. So be sure to subscribe to Brewers Daily, get notified every single time a new episode drops, because we're here with you every single day throughout the season. And we're going to be getting you going, getting fresh content out there, covering this team. So very excited for it. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. And appreciate you watching, appreciate you enjoying, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.